All right, guys, here we go. Not gonna flip anything too hard tonight because I got some little chitlins sleeping upstairs, but you already know what it is. Welcome to TSR. This is The Skate Room, the only skate news show filmed from a basement skate park. Let's get into this week's episode. I've got quite the topic to talk about, guys. The X Games. What was the X Games, actually? We're looking at something that I'm going to consider the biggest structural change to competitive skateboarding. Somehow I feel like nobody is talking about it. I've seen some good coverage after researching it myself, but overall, this was not presented to me as an avid skateboarder fan. So I was very surprised to see a new league essentially out of my favorite yearly event. So digging into XGL, which is the name of the updated X Games format, I feel like it was hidden to me and to you, and why I think there's a much bigger story underneath all of this. So what's actually changed for the X Games?
Born from the X Games, which for more than 30 years has served as something like a research and development lab for action sports, and now it's forming a new league. This timeline here shows the evolution of the X Games since 1995, when the Summer Games began, and 1997, when the Winter Games were introduced. Each gray area above and below then represents the number of sports featured at those events over the years. What should stand out is how the lineup has fluctuated and evolved. Experimental sports have come and gone, like sky surfing or snowmobile long jump, but a core group has remained consistent, with skateboarding and BMX in the summer here in red, and skiing and snowboarding in the winter in blue. Now, for as long as we can remember, the X Games have been built around standalone events, held around the world a few times each year. But this year, those events are now being connected through the MoonPay X Games League, or XGL for short, where instead of isolated competitions, those core sports we mentioned above now form a season with clubs, standings, and a championship. To start, the Summer League will feature 4 clubs, Los Angeles, New York, Tokyo, and Sao Paulo, who have just completed their draft. Each roster includes 10 athletes, split evenly between 5 men and 5 women, competing across 2 sports shown here and 3 disciplines each. Athletes can land on any club regardless of nationality, and it's how you get situations like Australian Chloe Cavell on New York, or American Garrett Reynolds on the Sao Paulo club. This summer, the inaugural season kicks off and takes place over the course of 1 month and 3 events. First in Sacramento, then Tokyo, and finally New Orleans for the XGL Championship, and throughout, each club will accumulate points, with every medal adding to the scoreboard and eventually crowning a champion. As we mentioned, the league will begin with 4 clubs, and later this year, the Winter League will launch with another 4, featuring snowboarding and skiing. That means 40 athletes are competing both individually and for their clubs to earn points, while the rest of the field is made up of free agents shown here in gray. Over time, though, the league plans to expand each year, growing to 10 by 2030 and expanding the XGL athlete pool until most events are competed for in a league format. It's a brand new phase for the X Games, bringing rivalries and a season-long storyline into the mix, while the core DNA remains the same, pushing the world of action sports forward.
This is not just another contest change. This is a business format, a business model being introduced into the extreme sports world. Because, and I should be careful, I'm covering this from the angle of a skateboarder, but this change is for all of the X Games, which is a multi-discipline. Why would X Games do this? Like, what were they thinking coming and taking something so beloved and changing it? Well, we need to talk about MSP Sports Capital. They are an investment company and an investment firm headed by CEO Jeremy Bloom, who is a 3-time world champion, 2-time Olympian free skier. The guy is considerably tied into the extreme sports world and has earned the respect of many. So he's not just some suit and tie who wants to make money. Actually, MSP was heavily invested in Formula One sports racing. So they're kind of bringing that whole seasonal format, teams and clubs, storylines, rivalries. They're trying to bring all of that into extreme sports. So MSP Capital is a large company that wants to turn the X Games into a profitable year-long revenue content creating stream. Problems with the X Games that were visible were low athlete income, annual events instead of year-round content. Sponsor value was significantly low through just TV deals. Fan engagement was minimal through just the annual events. There was a overall of a more valuable business model out there not being utilized. So there was a bigger story inside of all of this that I really came across. The X Games, the changes to the game themselves, those are interesting, they're cool. But really, and I kind of alluded to this in the beginning, there was a mysterious air around these changes, and almost like a shield put up around them where we weren't allowed to know this was happening, and it was just given to us on fear of backlash, maybe, or I think more likely the reason they didn't include me and you in this attempt to make the changes is because they didn't need us. They already have us. That's 30 years of viewership and loyalty, fan loyalty. The X Games has something a lot of other leagues are looking for, like LIV's golf and Formula One. Essentially, like, they want viewers. They want millennial and Gen Z viewers to consume their content, and the X Games has that built in. The quiet rollout really is the mystery of it all. I barely heard about it. Most skaters I talked to haven't heard much about it. It's a huge structural change to a beloved classic format, and the public reaction was tiny. Was it intentionally quiet, or was there a marketing aimed somewhere else? And that is the answer I came up with, because I'm not going to claim conspiracy that they wanted to hide these changes to prevent us from being upset. For the XGL2 to become reality, it was investors, sponsors, athletes, and the team owners who would eventually be there that were all needed to be marketed towards and to be on board to make this league a reality. So the evidence for that, the founding athletes that they had to convince. Once you convince the founding athletes to put their name on XGL, it was game over for the audience, me and you. They know that we like these guys and trust them, and if they say it's game on, then it's game on. So sponsor, founder, athletes. Once that was taken care of, the fans were really in. You can assume new sponsors such as MoonPay. They needed big money that wanted to have their name on top of this updated league format. Having your foot in the ground level of a league with so much popularity is a benefit. I think MoonPay made the right choice by putting their name on this. The business language and trying to create franchises and city clubs is such I can't even imagine the challenge that they're up against, trying to sell something that doesn't exist, essentially, to the tune of millions of dollars. I want to say UNA Sports Group has purchased both the New York Summer and New York Winter franchises. This is the first franchise to be sold and bought. This group acquired both the Summer and Winter franchise, which I think is going to be more common. The business language needed to create a franchise is quite extensive. The MSP Sports Capital is the company to do it for sure, but I mean, what they're doing to extreme sports right now is something that's never been done. So we kind of just got to sit back and let it happen, I guess. Or maybe not let it happen, we got to sit back and learn and see what we're being put up against as core skateboarders. I mean, this language is the numbers language. I'll tell you what, guys, they are putting this up against something. I don't know what it's going to be, but XGL is here. All the changes, they point in the same direction. The X Games, like I mentioned, is not just changing its format of a contest, it is changing what it is. X Games is no longer just a single yearly event, it is a league. AI judging is going to be introduced in this league. It sounds terrifying, I know, but it's more interesting than that, I could say. AI judges will not be the final say-all. They're just going to be contribute input for the human judges to consider. So that's something to consider ourselves. But the pros of AI judging is rotation tracking, height tracking, speed tracking. Those things are harder for the human eye to pick up on, essentially. The cons are you cannot judge style, creativity, flow, originality. All four of those things alone are 90% of a skateboarder, especially at that level where everybody can complete the same tricks. But I think it won't ever play a biggest part as some people may fear. That's truly how I feel about it, especially in something like skateboarding, BMX, snowboarding, skiing. Too much style to be measured. Sports betting is another aspect, like I kind of touched on a little earlier, I believe. Leagues create statistics, storylines, standings, predictability, all of those ingredients sports books love. That's what they need to create bets. So does creating a league accidentally make betting inevitable? I think the answer to that is yes. And I think ever since 2018, when we allowed, when the US government legalized sports betting, it was inevitable that it would make its way to skateboarding. A big question I have as a core skateboarder is, can skateboarding be franchised? As a core skateboarder, my traditional values come from the local scene and video parts and the crew, the local crew that I ride with, individual styles that we each have, and the brands that we support. XGL really has a bold vision of teams in a city that represent entire cities, with giraffes and owners of the teams and general managers that make the decisions of the drafts, and so many levels to skateboarder to becoming. They're adding a layer to skateboarding that doesn't need to be there, but the question I keep coming back to is, can the league itself create culture inside of skateboarding? And I think that the answer is yes. You know, a league can organize competition, obviously. I think in that sense, we will have culture created out of it. I'd be curious to see if we learn to care that Tokyo beats Sao Paulo, or LA and New York are trading championship wins after wins. I don't care yet, and maybe I will. Who knows? There are some benefactors. There are some people who will benefit from this. The athletes will definitely be the number one benefactors of the XGL. They're going to be given health insurance, a chance to compete year-round, steady income. There's so many good things for these guys. Sponsors, they'll benefit. The X Games is going to benefit. Us fans, I don't know if we'll notice too much of a change. We're still going to get, I mean, if you look at the summer league that they just put on, men's street best trick competitions were the best I've ever seen. It was amazing. So I think us fans are going to win too, all of us. There's a real potential that everybody comes out on top with a change like this to something like the X Games. These hiccups are really effing with me. My final thoughts on this really are, any part of XGL marketing that is out there available talks about what the league is. It just tells you what the changes are, but very little tells us what we should be excited about. It's a subtle but important difference in the messaging, because their messaging is often it's going to be team based, and there's a draft and there are clubs, but they haven't really answered or presented a reason why I should think this is going to make skateboarding more fun to watch. I think that's a real question to be asked. You know, if you ask yourself, why should I care if Tokyo beats Sao Paulo? XGL hasn't given fans a reason to pick a side yet. an emotional reason at least. And without that, it's really hard to generate excitement beyond, hey guys, here's a new format. Was it necessary? Is essentially a question that could be asked. What are XGL's biggest challenges going to be in the upcoming years? Will it be attracting fans? I don't think it'll be that, because asses in seats, they've got that. They brought that to the table as to the investors. At the ground level, the investors saw a 30-year franchise with viewership numbers in the millions, sometimes in the tens of millions. The challenge for XGL, like we just talked about, is going to be creating genuine rivalries. Traditional sports like the NFL have the Bears versus Packers, or the NBA has Lakers versus Celtics. And those kind of rivalries took decades, sometimes even centuries, to be created, and they're rooted in local identity and geography. Fans, we usually follow individual skaters for their style in the brands that support them. If XGL can genuinely make people care that Los Angeles beat New York, it'll have accomplished something entirely new for action sports. So that thought of us caring about a city in the championship to that point, I'm curious to see if they can accomplish that. Another thing to consider is the first Street League event that was controversial. The first Olympic event involving skateboarding was controversial. Nike entering skateboarding as a sponsor was controversial. History tells us skateboarding is always resistant to change at first, but history also tells us that some of those changes become part of the landscape of skateboarding. We can say the question is not whether XGL will be different than those other changes, but we can say is whether 10 years from now we'll look back as the moment that competitive skateboarding was either evolved or destroyed. Like we're really at the precipice of a big change. Good or bad, the future of contest skateboarding is XGL. Summer season essentially over. There's a lot of content to review, and I will be doing that. Can't wait to share my thoughts on the actual product itself. I just really enjoy seeing these changes in skateboarding and being able to present them to my viewers. It's been a privilege. So if y'all like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's get this channel popping, the numbers up. I want to do this full time. I will give it everything I got. So y'all, take it easy, and thanks for sticking around for another long video about skate business, skate contests. And remember, next time you're out, to flip it and stick it. Peace.